Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Just talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt, man!
All right, episode 26 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Chessie from Squeegee and Ink in England. Let's go!
Hello, how are you?
How's it going?
Yeah, good. Been working today, so I've just stopped now, just while the light was going. So,
what time is it there?
to you guys, it's about 7, just past.
Yeah, I looked that up, unlike Dylan, and I knew already what time it was there. And your time is GMT, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And
Greenwich
G stands
Mean Time.
Greenwich.
Mm-hmm.
See, I know.
Andy's so much more sophisticated than I am.
I studied the time zones. Is all I did.
Yeah, because you were really good with the cat spit episode.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, you did. You did, Jonathan.
Yeah, we did. Do you do the whole daylight savings time thing where you change your times a couple times a year in UK?
No. Oh, yeah, we're supposed to, but I never actually change a clock. It's still on the oven as the same.
So you're boycotting it.
Yeah, I just wait until that time comes around again, and then the time's right eventually. So, but it's all on your computers and your phones. It does it automatic, doesn't it?
It does now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny you talked about cat spit because I went on a deep dive today on your page, and it's just like educational video after educational video after. Are you like the UK cat spit?
Oh, that'd be good. I'd love that little handle. I reckon I've come at it from a different way than you guys, because I started as doing workshops for people and teaching.
That makes sense.
I've kind of carried it on, and people come to me a lot for advice and things in like very small startup shops. So I'm just slightly ahead of those guys. And obviously you guys are like way over here with your, like how specific you've got with your shirts. So I've only really got into shirts in the last couple of years, really. So
what were you doing before that?
I started out on really complicated jobs. My job was like computer restoration panels, very, very intricate, like printing on plastics and fine art printing, a lot of workshops and those types of things as well.
That's awesome.
And then, but I really loved the t-shirt printing, but I didn't feel like there was much trade for it, but I was completely wrong. So once I got rid of a few of those other jobs that were like taking a lot of my time, now I really just love the shirt printing. So
yeah,
that's what we're trying to dedicate ourselves to.
Is it nice to dive into something like that? It's not as, complicated and you can make a living at? Yeah,
because the computer panels, it was kind of like, I had one of this really old guy who was like, he was at the table when they were like creating the internet. He's really like incredibly intelligent and stuff. And it was his kind of like pet project that he just said, just spend as much time on this as you want to help me develop all my skills. And so they can all translate into t-shirt printing in the end.
Right.
But yeah, this is much more fun having a carousel and, getting
and
cool.
It's your own thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're starting our own brand as well. But I think I started it a little bit too early. That's on the back burner until we sort out studio work at the moment. But that's going to happen soon. Probably early next year.
We've talked to quite a few people lately, and they've been mentioning that they learned screen printing in school, like it was a course you could take, something like like in high school, even not just college, but in high school. Is that something you can do in England? Is it a trade, or is it can you actually take that in school, or is it? How did you learn screen printing?
I learned off my wife. So she was already doing it at university. So I actually just went in and helped her print like wrapping paper one day that she was selling on the markets. And then, I just started helping her print stuff for the markets. We had a regular stall and that type of thing. I think what they do in the UK is they just bundle it into art. So it'll just be in the art room somewhere that if one of the teachers is trained in how to expose a screen, then you've lucked out. But
was it we were talking to aisle 6 where he was talking about in Australia, it's straight up a trade and like you can get.
Oh God, I'd love that. Yeah, no, I can't think of any like role model jobs or any training like that I could have got apart from just being an apprentice in someone else's studio.
I would just love that certification to be like, oh, this is a trade. Well, you got to think about it. Like even with here where I am, because I'm a little more remote, like everybody I hire is totally new. They know nothing about screen printing at all. And like we teach them this trade, this craft, and then realistically they could leave here and go work at any other shop and use those skills. So like we are teaching somebody a skill. It's not like mindless button pushing or anything. So
yeah, exactly.
I kind of like how maybe I do, maybe I don't. I'm trying to get my head around it. I kind of like though how you can't go to school for it because then that makes you maybe different than other shops. Or it's sort of like, I guess it's sort of like trying to train an artist, to be an artist. Maybe you get trained out of what you really want, or you have to focus on this. I mean, yeah, it exposes you to new stuff and other things and different ways to do it. But when you come up, especially like I did, because I didn't come from another shop. I didn't apprentice under anyone. I just bought the stuff and messed up 1,000 times, and then I became, okay at it. And so
it would be nice to go somewhere and learn like the basics and the science behind like making a screen and the chemical reaction and like all that stuff, because then once they know that, they can, like, say you did a classification course and then you started a shop, you would at least have that down. And then the creative, like, how do you want to run your shop? Do you want to be a contract shop? Do you want to do direct to customer? Do you want to just do fucking like poster printing? Or do you want to do like you, where you're doing a bunch of stuff and teaching classes and all that other stuff? I feel like you could just get the basics down first would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of like traps that people fall into, but a lot of bad advice that they might get initially, like buying even the wrong kit and then they can't get their head around it and then they just dump it in the corner. But people do come to us for day courses and learn. Like you can learn a lot in a day, like how to expose the screens. We even expose screens for people and send them out to their shops.
I saw that in one of your videos. So somebody will order. You can not just like they don't just pick them up. You can ship them somewhere. These screens.
Mm-hmm. We ship them all over the place. There's a lot of kind of small kind of places in the UK where it's like they do vinyl printing already, and they might do embroidery. They want screen print, but they haven't got the space or the know-how. So we just send them the pre-exposed screens. They might send them back. We redo them. So I think that's something we might grow out of, but it's kind of like, it's just from where we started.
How much of your day is that, like burning screens for people?
I do it like on 2 mornings a week. I do it on mass. So I do it on like Tuesdays and Thursday mornings.
Now, obviously you're buying like a brand new screen for that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, what happens if you burn a screen for somebody and it's got something wrong with it, like a pinhole or something didn't get blown out all the way or something like that? Do you just make them a new screen?
Probably. We haven't really had it.
Oh, really?
Which it sounds like...
That's awesome.
We're pretty meticulous with stuff. The only problem I've ever thought of, like one person stabbed his screen with a scalpel and sliced it right the way through. But I have to just replace it because it's not worth the aggro. We don't have a lot of problems with it because I think us offering that service, we know we won't just send you a screen with the image burned right up to the edge. We'll like do it so that you can print it nicely.
Right.
So there is a bit of back and forth, like, I think you need vector artwork here, or you're expecting too much from this 43T or something like that. So yeah.
That's awesome.
And they can order different sizes, or I guess different mesh counts and all this. They tell you beforehand what they're doing with it, what it's going on, I guess. Or do you make those decisions?
It used to be like, whatever you want. And now I've standardized it. So it's just, there's 2 stock screens now. It's mainly for the t-shirt kind of people. There's still a few of my customers who are like wanting massive screens or teeny tiny little ones like this for things. So I've kind of saying no to those a bit more and just standardizing it so that I can just have it in the, the drying room. It's not feasible to do all the different variety anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if you get calls, Dylan, but we get calls from every once in a while. It seems like it's maybe once a month or something like that, where somebody asks if we can make a screen for them. But my answer is always no, because typically they're not because
just no. It's not being mean. It's yeah. Oh god.
No. Hold on.
No. Let me have my way here. Andy's just a dick and doesn't want to help.
But the real reason is I'm a dick.
Yeah.
But for real, most of the time it's the screen that a lot of times people say, I have a screen, can you code it and expose it? And we can't do that because we have a auto coder and our coder's a certain size, and it's usually not the size that they have. You know what I mean? So we can't code it and we can't expose it. Neither, because our pusher frame is, although, did you see somebody said that the 23 by 31 pusher frame for the iMage, you can put a 2536 in there? They commented recently about that, which I never knew.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we have the other pusher frame for that, but you don't, so you could try it.
Yeah, I could try it. They said you could still do it. But yeah, so my answer is we can't do it because we don't have the right size, coder.
Exactly. So I'm going to try and, I think being in business for long enough, you realize you're not actually, like, by saying no to people, you're not actually being mean, and you have to say no maybe like a fifth of the time, a quarter of the time, because then you're actually serving your actual customers better. Yeah. You're working on what you want to work on. And
we talk about that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is like important. Business books, isn't it? Mm-hmm. They all come back to the same kind of.
And no matter how many times I tell myself that I just say no, then I still say yes sometimes. So, you just have to, from time to time, for whatever reason, you got to say yes and make somebody happy. And
what's your kind of like management team there? Do you like have an alter ego who kind of reins you in sometimes, or?
Are you talking to me here?
Yeah.
So here, I have my wife, and she is a really good balance, because over the years I've tried to become more like her in a lot of ways. I had this I had parts of me that I was working on, still do, and there were parts of hers I recognized. I'm like, man, how is she always so cool, under pressure and stuff, and I'm not. And so I don't know, I practiced at it and got a little better. And so there's this, she's a perfect balance. Like, I'll come in here this past 3 weeks, I've basically been a press operator, because our team isn't big enough because of the whole mess, and we are we're really busy. And so I've been running a press every day, among other things, but that's one of the things I do. So I'll come in off the press and just with that kind of exhaustion, physical and also mental, and I'll come sit down and I'll try and answer email real fast or whatever. But as I come through and I look at her, and she's going through her own, different things, because we do really different things here, and we just look at each other and we know, and I see her, and it's that's what it's a really nice thing to have her here, honestly. So that's my alter ego, is, I suppose. Would be her. How about you?
I definitely have to be reined in a lot. I get too excited about things, and then I like new shiny things, like new projects. Or we recently nearly jumped and went into a really big premises, but instead we're going, okay, just chill out in here for a little bit, make sure this is all really good, make sure our processes are good, we can get as much staff in here as we can, and then we can scale. So it's kind of no, just slow down, make it profitable, as much as possible, and then you can scale what you've got. So, but that's all coming from not me. I'd go and spend all the money and get the new kit, and she'll be like, oh no, let's just see how we can plan that in. So it does work out for the best in the end, but it's not the fun part of it.
Where are you located? Oh, go ahead. Were you going to say the same thing?
You're faster. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, you were talking about a new space. Where are you located? Are you in a city? Are you rural? Where are you about?
We're right so like we're just off the center of the town, of a small town. So yeah, we were going to go like into the edge of the countryside a little bit more to get a bigger premises, because we don't really need footfall anymore, because people know. Walk-ins aren't the best customers in this area anyway for us now, because we don't just do like, you know, walk-ins are 90% like, oh, can you put my name on the back of a shirt? And you're like, oh, sorry, you got to stop and explain to them and push them somewhere else. So yeah, we don't need that anymore. So we really need this space. Mm-hmm.
Is real estate pretty cheap out there?
I don't think so. No, I think it's pretty savage. I don't think it's actually the real estate. I think it's the taxes. You like got your rent and then you got business rates. So it almost doubles any actual, like they advertise the rent, but then the business rates absolutely murder you. So yeah, in this space.
What do you mean business rate? What does that mean?
It's just a tax. It's just like whatever your rent is. And then it could be, say if your rent's like 20K, your business rates are 13K on top of that.
And the tax goes to the government, or goes to who?
Government. Yeah. And then you've got all your normal taxes on top. So yeah, if we stay small like this for as long as possible, we're actually under the threshold of that. So we don't get taxed at all for that particular thing. So
do you feel like you need to scale up, or are you kind of happy with where you're at?
I feel like we're busting at the seams and we need space. But we just need to do it in a sensible way, because I think with the COVID thing, there's going to be quite a lot of, it sounds really harsh, but there's going to be businesses go under, right, and it's going to become cheaper to get those bigger premises. And
that makes sense.
I might be waiting for that.
So what do you do for fun when you're not printing?
I suppose running and stuff, reading. I play rugby. Started rugby. Yeah, that's really fun. Haven't actually played a proper game yet because we can't be, be in contact with each other. But I think
that's
That's
Andy's favorite. We were talking about when I visited him about how nobody can visit anybody, but all these sports teams are getting together. And
yeah, we're doing like, it was just crazy. Like one day we were literally holding and like tackling each other, and then you can't go into a small independent shop. So it blows my mind how they're thinking of this stuff. But. Driving here, on my way here, I drive past the soccer fields. It's called Creve Coeur soccer fields, and there was probably no less than 3,000 people. Like Jesus, kids, like there was all youth soccer, and then all of their parents, and then everybody. So it was like it was packed. Of course, they're outside, and so sun shining. I know.
Nobody has a mask on.
No. but like you said, there's no you cannot go. There's no dine-in in St. Louis City, St. Louis County. There's no dine-in. So what a lot of restaurants here are doing, which is pretty, I think pretty smart, is they put tents outside their restaurants. Oh, really?
It's the same thing. You're just eating inside, outside.
That's what I was going to say.
You eat in the tent outside.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, right.
No sense at all.
We're in our second lockdown, the whole of the UK. So this is kind of like, it's just like a lot of our customers and friends are pub owners. I wonder how that came about. But so they're really suffering at the moment. You're just watching them. You're like, oh, God, I can't do anything to help this. But we're just hoping that they come out of it. I think it's early December we get out of this lockdown.
I was noticing that a lot of your videos are from TikTok. Do you find that TikTok is a good platform for you?
It's quite good for like seeing like how to quickly, you could like copy other people's format of video, and you can quickly apply and edit, and it's quite fun and engaging to watch. So really what we're doing is we're using TikTok to make the videos fun and a bit different instead of posting static pictures. And then we just push them onto Instagram. So,
but are you getting people viewing them from TikTok though?
Yeah.
Because definitely, like, there's some people out there that I know that are like, dude, you should try TikTok, just because of the fact that you can make quick clip videos and it's not as shitty as Instagram is, with like only, you know, a few of your followers get to see it. It's more widespread, I guess, to where a lot more people get to see it.
Yeah. 100%. So you could get like virally videos on, like, we've got like maybe 2 or 3 viral videos on there, and it could be anything, like pouring emulsion just goes nuts. But yeah, we're really using it because the leads that come from TikTok are a bit, we haven't had any amazing leads from there, but they say, oh, I've seen you on TikTok and now I follow you on Instagram. And then that you can tell that they're the actual other studios or other screen print shops, or they might be a customer.
Right.
But we get a lot of leads from Instagram. I'd say it's probably like a quarter of our stuff.
So you're using TikTok for its ease, like the feature of just making a video, because you can put music to it or whatever, and it just has this. It's easier than, like, for example, Instagram Story. You're saying just it's that feature.
Yeah, I mean, Instagram's brought in Reels now.
Oh yeah,
Reels. That's their copy of TikTok. I don't think it's good yet because I can't. Every time I put music on it, it like kills the video. It says, "Oh, you're not allowed that music." So. Oh yeah. Well, you've got complete freedom on TikTok.
Wonder how they get away with that. Like the license.
I think it's because TikTok picks the music though, right? Like you get to pick from a certain list that TikTok has. It's not like you're adding your own, right?
You can make your own like voiceovers and things, and then other people can use your audio. They can clip your audio and make their own versions. There's also quite cool stuff like they can split the screen and talk to you in response. And yeah, I think Instagram's going to find out all about that and just nick it anyway. So
yeah.
Can you even use TikTok in the United States anymore? Is it over? I thought they banned it. Is that a thing?
I think Trump just got pissed off because TikTok followers like ruined a couple of his rallies or something. So he just said that, and it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, they were. I
don't have TikTok, but I thought you couldn't have it anymore. One of the things I saw in one of your videos, and why I think that learning at a trade school maybe would suck, is that I saw you using this spatula, like a silicone spatula.
Yeah, I love that.
For your inks, and I'm like, wait, why did I not think of that? That's a great idea. Did they clean up really easily? Oh
my god, yeah, like nothing else. It's just like straight off. But I use that because I use a lot of harsh chemicals on like printing metal and plastics and that type of thing. And it was the only thing that just wouldn't degrade anything. And I felt like those spatulas would, I know you probably got the rounded ones, but I just feel like they're a bit precarious around a screen, like I'm going to stab it.
Right.
Whereas those are just, you just get every little bit out. You're not like, some people like pull the emulsion out with their hands on the coater and stuff, which is a bit sticky. So I just like, the spatula really just gets in there.
Yeah. We have one just like that for getting excess emulsion out of the scoop coaters. That's pretty much all we use it for.
Yeah, just use it everywhere.
Yeah. We're going to keep saying I saw in one of your videos because there's like a million videos on your page.
I know.
But I don't know what it was, if it was just the video lighting or what it was, but I saw one with you coating a screen and I was like, is there tape on that screen already? Like pre-taped the screen and then coated it. But then I think it was just like the lighting. But then I got to thinking about it and I was like, that kind of makes like, that seems like a good idea. I want to try. Like you got to think, because if you pre-coat this, or like if you pre-tape the screen like you would on the outside or on the inside of the frame and then coated it, you wouldn't have any of the thick deposits around the outside. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't have like kind of like me and you were talking about, Andy, where before when you were using the permanent blockout screens, you would end up with that like gooey shit because it wouldn't expose all the way. But if you were using like clear tape,
What happens?
And then when you clean the screen, you're taking all the tape off, and then you won't have any like thick deposits around the outside.
But I'm thinking what happens when you pull the tape off? I mean, it's going to tear or rip at the emulsion? No? I don't think it would.
I don't know.
I think it wouldn't. I feel like it's not pulling off. I think your tape's stuck on there and you just fucked up your screen.
I guess it depends on what tape you use, though, because like we use the natural gum rubber tape, which isn't like, it doesn't stick to the actual mesh. I mean, it sticks to it like enough, but it doesn't. It's not like it grabs a hold of the. Like we don't ever have sticky residue on the screen.
Right.
I think
I'm wondering if it's like painter's tape or you just take it right off.
I think you're going to get like uncured emulsion in a band, which is just going to leak. No, I don't know.
That's what I said. I kind of want to try it out.
I'll try it out.
So yeah, I feel I hear you right there. So what's going to happen is you're going to have the lights coming up from the bottom.
Yeah.
And the light's not going to go through the tape unless you have clear tape.
Right.
Like she just said, it's not going to.
Oh, you did say clear tape. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to prove you wrong.
I kind of want to just try it on like one or two screens just to see what it does.
All right.
Well, you got to think like I know people say like even on the Unicoat, like to card off the edges so that you don't have thick deposits or whatever. But what if you just did the tape and then when you go to blow it out, that's usually what they spend the most time on is like pressure washing the outside edges where it's thicker. What if that didn't exist?
We've got the gold coater with the like extended edges and they like scoop up that thickness. That works a treat.
I don't know. I just saw it and it made me think. So that's all I'm saying.
On the Unicoat or auto coaters in general, they go it's coating up, right? Just like you would with your hands, and then when it gets there, it stops, and you program in this recipe how long you want it to pause. Before you and it goes a little bit further.
It scrapes up. Yeah,
and it goes just a little bit further, and there's always that maybe an inch or so that you want to card off. Yeah.
All right.
So I think you should try that and then let us know.
Okay.
Dylan. I'm gonna try it out. Yeah. For real, I'm gonna try it out this week.
Okay.
Because that's what I do. I use my mind and I try things out. I don't just listen to whatever you say, Andy, and then leave it to do the word.
All right. So in one of your videos, I saw that you have a new screen room.
Yeah, we just it was the same. Yeah, it's the same space. We've just modified it a lot. Got new racking. What else have we done? Because of this like massive variety of screens that we're used to doing, I always had like used the excuse of coating on the floor wedged up against something as like that's what I had to do. But like standardizing meant that I can have a little table in there, and yeah, it's much cleaner and more peaceful in there now. It's like everything's got its place. That's what we're trying to do across the whole studio. So,
do you guys get like back when you were coding by hand? Well, you're still coding by hand, but like, do you find that messy at all? Where you have a specific table set up that gets like the drips of emulsion and everything on it, and then it's just messy, or are you constantly like wiping stuff up if you get any off?
We're probably more like wiping it up if we get it off. I mean, our floor's pretty dotty with crap, but it's not like covered in emulsion.
We have this back like when we very first started. We started in my wife's grandfather's sign shop, and he had this like piece of like MDF wood that he coated screens on, and it already had like a real thin layer of like emulsion on it from like just drips of the coater or whatever. So it was already kind of messy. So it's not something you would wipe up. You wouldn't get a drip on it and be like, whatever, I'll wipe it up. You would just let it dry and then like harden on. Well, we use that same table like through every like shop transition, and we literally only stopped using it when we got the auto coater, which was like 2-3 years ago or whatever. So that thing's had like over 15 years of service. Nice. Of like, but I saved it. Like we threw everything in the darkroom away, like the old stuff, but I kept that tabletop, and I have it right here in the office. It's like laying over here. I want to hang it on the wall and put like 10 years of screen coat service, because it's like art, because it's like 10 different colors of emulsion, and like it's like super. It's probably like this thick of like just like dots and like drips of emulsion all over.
What do you use now?
Well, we don't, just because we have the auto coater, we don't need like a table for emulsion or anything. It's just
you still
it'd be really nice to scrape it off.
Yeah,
one big sheet of emulsion.
I think we have like a card table underneath the exposure unit that we pull out. And I think he like replaces it with garbage bag every so often to just like put the gallons on to like scrape it back in. But before it was just like, just this fucking piece of wood, and it was kind of messy. But now the screen room is super clean and neat. So I feel like we just change that every so often.
We have that same sort of thing, only it's just a piece of corrugated. It was like a sign that we got. Somebody shipped us, and they used it as packaging or something, and we kept it, cut it just right for there. And we still have it, and we slide it under the Unicoat, and we slide it out. And so then when we open, we put the emulsion, on top of it. And when we open it, usually we spill every time. And so we kind of have that same thing, 10 years of whatever. I want to go grab it and show you. So
I want to see both these boards. Really good swivel there.
All right,
hold on.
Yeah, go get your boards. I haven't got one.
You're going to be here all by yourself for a minute.
I know.
Thing weighs like 50 pounds.
Jesus. Yeah, that's good. It's like a Jackson Pollock.
Oh, yeah.
But it's got like paper in it from like old cards from scraping that are just like part of it.
Yeah, that should be on the wall.
See, that's what I mean. I'm saving that. I don't know if you can see how thick it is, but it's thick. But it's got a little of everything in it. There's like a t-shirt stuck in it.
You should auction that off. That's impressive.
I just want to hang it in the office and be like, like this, we use this for like, the first 15 years of business or whatever. It's pretty awesome. So I know you have a nice clean space now, but now you're not going to have a sweet piece of art.
Oh no, I want one. Yeah, maybe I'll just clean up after yourself.
It's like those people that save the pallet tape and make a giant ball, and you try to see how big you can get it.
Little snowman instead. I could do my snowman this year in pallet tape.
That was one thing. I'm not going to say from a video, but
yeah.
There's one thing from a video is that I saw you were trying out a bunch of different tapes for your pallet tape. Mm-hmm. And I saw you were using that PMI tape. That's basically a double-sided sticky tape. Do you like that at all? Because we got a sample sent to us, I think, from the last ISS show, and we never tried it.
It's got its uses. So you're talking about for the platen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we found it doesn't work particularly well on like hoodies or jumpers because it's just not sustainable to like keep, like you have to like kind of wash the fluff off and then it gets super sticky again. But t-shirts, like cotton shirts or something, you can run hundreds of them on there.
Yeah. So it's pretty much exactly what we're doing, where we're just we have two sets of pallets. We have pallets for all t-shirts and we have pallets just for hoodies. So our t-shirt pallets are all just like regular pallet tape with water-based adhesive on it. And then every, couple hundred shirts, we'll put water on them, scrub them, reactivate it with the flash, and then go right back to printing.
Wait, you reactivate water-based glue with water?
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought of that. I kind of just go, it's not sticky anymore.
No.
Top it up. No. Okay.
No spray at all. Don't spray the pallets. Like if you spray that, it's basically garbage. You need to like peel the tape off and do it again. Yeah. So we just put water-based adhesive. Like you get, it's called like Tex-Tac is like one of the brands. That's the ones that we use.
Tex-Tac. So.
Yeah. So you just take that, and we don't use it straight out of the jug either, because it's like really, really sticky. So we take like a bottle, and we'll put like 3/4 of it glue, and then like a little, like maybe like an inch of water, shake it up, and then put it on fresh pallet tape, and then print, like I said, until it's not sticky anymore. Mm-hmm. And then we just take a water bottle. I think it's actually like a Dr. Pepper bottle that we poked a little hole in the top of, and we just add a little bit of water to each pallet and then scrub it with a scrub brush like you would use on your screens. Yeah. And then as you're scrubbing them and you're letting the carousel go around, the flash is just like flashing them and drying them, and then they're sticky again. Like you don't have to add more glue.
Didn't know that. Thank you.
And then
I didn't know you could reactivate the glue like that.
Yeah, you're basically just using the water to get all the lint off, and then it reactivates it. It doesn't last forever. Like you could probably scrub, I don't know, like six or so times before you need to add more glue. But then what you're going to do is you're going to scrub the lint off, and then you're going to add more glue so that you're adding glue to paper, not to lint.
Yeah.
So that's why I was trying to tell Andy before, like our t-shirt pallets that we have on press, we probably only change the pallet tape like every 6 months, like 4 to 6 months.
Not true.
Really?
100% true.
I don't believe, but that is pretty impressive. If that,
but we're not putting any web or spray tack on it, so the lint doesn't stay. That's the reason why we can keep them for so long. The only time we change them is eventually the flash starts to, like, because they get heated so many times, it starts to like bubble the tape a little bit. And these pallets aren't like super gross looking either. Like I said, they're scrubbed often. It's just once they start to bubble, that'll show up in the print. So then we take the tape off and then we put new tape on.
Do you like wrap it around the edges of you call them pallets, don't you? I hope we call them platens.
Yeah.
Do you like wrap it around the edge, or do you
we cut it
really neat?
We cut it even all the way around, and then we take a piece of masking tape on the front and on the back and then fold it over so that the hoodie or the tee or whatever you're using won't pull the tape up, but the sides just stay flat. We don't add any tape to that. Because the front and the back, it's only like a half inch on the front and the back. So you're never going to print on that spot. So
no. Oh, you're going to see those tips in my next video.
Yeah, we wrap ours.
Where I got it from.
So you wrap yours around the side? Because we wrap ours.
We do it really neat around the edge. We cut it with a scalpel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I
just feel like if it doesn't stick too well to the rubber, you're going to end up peeling it up from a tee or something that's too sticky, or someone just doing it too fast and it peels up. So I said, if you just take regular masking tape and do the front and back, it'll stay that way forever. Like you're never going to peel that off until you're ready to peel it off.
Okay.
All right. We'll look for your next video.
She'd be like, well, Dylan said.
I will.
And then you'll get a bunch of hate mail.
Do you have Dr. Pepper there?
Yeah.
In England? Okay.
Yeah.
Because he said Dr. Pepper bottle, and I was thinking, does she even know what that is? I doubt it.
Dude, it's Dr. Pepper.
I love Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper's in Russia as well. Like I went to Russia a few times, and if you're ordering it over there, you can't just say Dr. Pepper. You have to put on like a serious accent and go Dr. Pepper like that, and then they're like, oh, Dr. Pepper, and then they get it for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's funny.
Every time I think of Dr. Pepper, I think of Forrest Gump, where he drinks. I could have had me, 14 Dr. Peppers.
No, we got that. We've basically got a lot of this stuff that everything's migrated over from America, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, got a lot of the other stuff.
What's your go-to for like screen or for like shirt blanks and stuff?
It's Stanley Stella ones. Do you have those?
Mm-mm.
It's like a super organic. They're like all those eco credentials. That's what they've made on. They're quite expensive, but when we give people like a Fruit of the Loom, they might be a little bit old school and be like, oh, I have to have Fruit of the Loom. If we give them one of those, and then if we can put it in their hands like a Stanley Stella shirt, they'll be like, oh no, that's garbage, and they'll go for that every time. I'd say it's like 80% of what we print on now, for sure.
Do you ever do that? Where we do it from time to time, where like there's a customer that we know kind of needs a little bit of help or needs guidance into like a better shirt. So say a customer will be like, this is what I want. I'm like, okay, but I know this other shirt will be better for you. I'll go ahead and order their job, and then I'll add on like one or two other items that are stuff that I think they're going to like. And I'll just throw it in the order and let it get printed on everything and send it to the customer. And then they're always like, oh, what was that one like really cool shirt you put in there? And I'm just like, yeah, like
what you should be having.
That's what you should use.
Yeah. No, they don't know. And we can't.
It only costs a couple bucks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's totally worth doing.
Yeah. We've like transformed like what they're buying now. It used to be like majority Gildans just because that's what everyone knows. People ask us directly for advice, and then we just keep sampling it to them because it makes our prints look better because they're smoother, and you can use like water-based inks, discharge inks. There's no one's like over dyeing the bloody shirts and then it comes out like crap halfway through. Right. So yeah, it's better for us, so it's better for them.
Yeah. The thing is, I feel like I don't have a stake in any of these brands, but like we just print on them so often that we know like these print really well, or these actually fit really well.
Yeah.
And And that opinion changes every year depending on what we're seeing trends in or whatever. But it's just nice to steer the customer to be like, hey, like this is actually going to be way better for you.
Yeah. I mean, people would never come and say like, oh, what's a vegan shirt? Or can I have an environmentally friendly shirt? Like this just wasn't a thing. And now I know what all these shirts that I'm printing on, they've got those credentials because they know it's what people are starting to ask for.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Are you having stock issues with that stuff? Supply chain issues like we're having here?
Not like you guys, but yours is like double fold, isn't it? Haven't you got like floods and stuff with some of the manufacturers in Portugal? And
yeah, we had that recently, but it was before that was still happening. I think it's just because they were too busy making masks or they didn't have enough employees to keep up.
We've got like the big wholesalers. Like we used to be able to order at 6 p.m. and then come at like 9 a.m. the next day. But now they're all like dragging their feet in the factories, whatever they're doing. So they're taking might take 3 or 4 days to get your shirts, but we've got work booked up, so it's not really affecting us. It's not like we need to do next day orders at the moment. So it's not really a problem at the moment for us.
Do you guys try to do anything over the top normal with like being at all kind of eco-friendly? Or you said your favorite shirt was like a super eco shirt. Is that kind of like a focus for you guys?
I think so. I think it's where it's going, so we might as well be ahead of it. So we're trying to work with, so like not all customer jobs lend themselves to being like water-based or discharge prints, but we're doing that on our own brand stuff. So we're learning a lot more about it on our own time. And then we can translate that. We can show the customers like, oh, actually this would work much better, have a much better feel if this was discharge ink or something. So,
right. And that's probably going to help you if you get that bigger space is to get a bigger dryer.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I know exactly what kit I'm getting. So it's like, I've already got the shopping list. I've already filled the space. So
what do you want to get? What's on your wish list?
I think I'm not going to go for autos. I think I'm going to do what Killer Merch. Do you know Killer Merch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to do kind of what they've done and just have like 3 or 4 manual presses, one big dryer in the middle. Maybe be known for like the discharge and water-based, really high-end printing, because there's a lot of people servicing the
basic stuff.
Yeah, the basic stuff. But I'd rather just have a long waiting list and be known for the good stuff. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
that's what I'm going for.
Yeah. What is your client list like now? Is it a mix of everything, or are you trying to steer it one way? I
think like last year it was probably like big event companies, like promotional shirts, restaurants. But then those big those jobs used to come from much bigger companies, and they used to just siphon off their screen printing to us. But those two have completely they're a bit screwed, aren't they? Because all their customer bases have gone. So thank God we weren't just relying on them. So I'd say the majority of our stuff is small brands, small and medium-sized brands. And we've got like the local market of the town supplying us with like workwear and that type of thing as well.
Yeah. One of the things, like we're kind of a little bit in the same headspace as you, where we're trying to do more like quality print stuff and a little bit higher end. And I would love to have that waiting list or whatever, or just be able to tell people no all the time. Yeah. Are you kind of like nerding out a little bit, or like trying to research as much as possible on like better finishing options, like tagging, bagging, like hem tags, stuff like that? Or because I feel like once you dive into that space more, that's what they're all asking for. They're like, well, I want hem tags and I want, like all this extra stuff that normal orders don't ask for.
Not really. We just go into like maybe just plaster or transfers for the inner neck or something like that. But I don't want to be sewing anything. So I haven't got a huge, maybe I'll get someone in to do sewing hem tags, but yeah, if people actually do this thing where they go to a really big factory, get them to do all the hem tags, and then they send us the shirts. But that big factory does screen printing, but they don't get them to do the screen printing. They send it to us. So I haven't figured out why they do that yet. But
Probably because they're printing shit.
hopefully that's the reason. That'd be nice. I don't know. Yeah, maybe they're.
We had a customer recently. I won't say who it is, but like they do like thousands and thousands of stuff like all the time, like probably weekly. And we were going to work with them, and we were looking into like all these ways to like service what they were trying to do. And that was one of the things they wanted was like hem tags on every shirt, no matter what. But the problem wasn't necessarily that I had was the hem tag, because I could buy the machine that does that like kind of quick. The problem is that every shirt, like say it was a red shirt, their hem tag would be like white and red. And then like a black shirt would be like black and white, or like they would change the hem tag all the time. So it was like, to me, that was a nightmare to be like, let me make sure I pre-order. Because every week they'd be like, all right, I need like 6 designs and I need like 1,000 of each. I would have to like quickly get my hands on those hem tags, ordered, get them here, and then put them on.
Yeah.
If they just did
stress.
Right, but I'm saying if they did
like
one,
I'm getting anxious listening.
Right, if they did one hem tag, if they just did a black and white hem tag on everything, then I could order like 1 million hem tags and just have them here, and then every job would get the same hem tag. But it was just kind of like too many variables. That's kind of why we turned that customer down, is because they just had so many variables that it was going to eat up like a ton of our time in business. Like I would have to just have a part of the shop dedicated to them all the time. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't want to do that, because if they ever bail, then what do I do with that department? What do I do with those people? And I don't want that at all. So.
Yeah, brilliant. I think it's probably a good choice.
Yeah.
I got a story for you guys.
Here we go.
So last night, got home, worked here for a while.
Cool story.
Yeah, hey, thanks. Worked here, washed some screens, left here maybe 1 o'clock, then went and got oil changed, because I've just been putting it off. Car was probably going to blow up. Finally got that oil change. Got home, made dinner. We were just sitting around and watching, after dinner, we were just watching some YouTube videos. And my phone rings, and it's ADT. And they said, we have an alarm at your back door. And so like I freaked, because we have motion detectors here, and we get an alarm code for that every so often, right? And that's usually like a spider or a whatever, or like a fly or something, if it's too sensitive, you know? Yeah, every once in a while that'll happen. And so it's a motion. I'm thinking, well, if it's a motion, that's good news. And I'll look at we have cameras, and so I'll look at the security cameras and it's like, well, it seems like everything's fine. We won't have to send the police or go out there. Well, last night it was a back door, and it was like at 7 something. And so I said, my heart started pounding. I said, yeah, send the police. And so I hung up. I looked at the cameras. Looking, we have like 6 of them, and so I'm looking around. Like they're all on the inside, not on the outside. And started looking around. I don't see any movement, and then I disarm the alarm, so it's not like blaring out anymore. And then I get a phone call. It's the police, and they say your back door is open. What do you want us to do? And you need to lock in. So we jump in the car and we come up here, and we just walk through with the officer, and I apologize and say sorry, I'm wasting your time, because everything was fine. And I locked the door and went home. But I wanted to bring this up because, one, do you have a security system? And if not, do you think you should? Because I think all shops should think about that, because like immediately going through my head was like, we probably have a dozen iMacs at least in here. And,
I want to say that you've got a ghost in there, and you need to sort that out before you
there is a ghost 2 buildings down, by the way, where the gym we go to and work out. There's one in the basement there. I haven't seen it or anything like that, but they tell us there is. So maybe it was just over here that last night. But that was the first thing, is like, do you have you thought about security, and do you have an alarm company? Because it felt so good to know that somebody yanked on that door, because I guess we left it open, or they pried it open somehow. It wasn't ruined, like they didn't smash it or ruin it or anything. So let's say I left that door open, which is weird because I check it so like religiously. But if they did yank on that door for whatever reason, and that alarm just popped off right away, And they say, well, you never mind. I'm just going to go somewhere else. Well, that's good, right? It's worth that money we spend every month for that alarm system. And then B, do you have cameras or video in case that happened and they got in and you could see somebody or who it was or whatever? And the last question, or something to think about anyway, is what kind of insurance do you have for that kind of stuff? And also fire, because we just got all this new equipment. I know this is boring stuff, so you don't even have to answer. We just got this new equipment and I forgot to upgrade. I forgot to add to our insurance policy because we got a dryer and the Cobra and the Ecotex, and all of a sudden it hit me. Not last night, but like a couple months ago, I was like, oh.
Because a burglar's going to come in and he's going to throw that Cobra up over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pretty nice press.
And that 36-inch back door, he's going to try to squeeze that Cobra through.
But the insurance would be for, obviously not the Cobra, Dylan, but great point. It could get stolen. But it's for what if there's a fire, like what happens? And also, do you have, like when we do our thing, when I signed up for the, every year or annually, we have to apply for a business license in our county, in our city, and in the state. And I have to give them my cell phone number. And so like the police actually called my personal cell phone number and said, hey, we're here. I thought how cool that was, that I'm actually on the phone with those people, and also fire departments. So something to think about. Insurance policies, security.
I think we're pretty secure. Plus we've got we're so confined that it's like there's a pub that looks over our yard because we're on a builder's yard. So that's got some gnarly, evil fencing around it. Not that there has been someone got in before in the yard. Just like stealing copper and stuff. Do they just to go and do that here?
Yard?
Yeah, he did get away with it, kind of. Anyway, so sometimes having the video of them isn't actually that useful because, anyway, it doesn't matter. That's a whole long story. But we've got alarms, and the neighbors are all around, and they're constantly looking out the windows, and they'll ring us if anyone's being weird. So that's probably the best kind of system to have.
I think
shutters and all that.
I think you don't have any security except for a baseball bat, and you probably leave your
100%. I was just going to say that. I was going to say, in my town, everybody knows the kids from up the street that are the ones that do shit around town, that break in and stuff. I feel like our angle is intimidation. They know that if they break in here, we're just going to beat the fuck out of them. So they just don't break in here. But the nice thing I have is I own a really big long building on the street. There's only one other building on the street, and it's the same size as us, but on the other side of the road. And then right at the end of my building is the state trooper barracks.
Nice, yeah.
So if you broke into this building, you'd be fucked.
Hang on a second. The end of your building, not attached, detached?
No, it's a separate building. At the very end of our building, on the next door neighbor, is the state trooper barracks.
Well, okay, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying. I don't have to pay for security; they're right there. I've been pulled over at my own shop probably 35 times from cops at night because I'm a grown ass man, and this is how I dress. And when I come down here at night at midnight to do the fire, before now that I got rid of the fire, I would always come down like this in the middle of winter and be lurking around the building, putting wood on the fire and stuff. And the cop would always come pull up, put the spotlight on me, be like, who are you? What are you doing here? And I'd be like, I own this building. And they're like, yeah, right. Prove it. And I'm like, this is my car. It has a fucking logo right on it. This is the building right here. Here's my wallet. And they're like, oh, okay.
You don't have the fire anymore?
No, gone.
What do you mean by that? You don't have the fire? What?
Our building is an old train station, and it was heated with a wood boiler. Okay. So for the past 10 years since I've owned this building, in the winter, I have to put wood on in the morning, wood on in the afternoon, and then wood on every night at midnight. And then this past year, since spring, we did a bunch of renovations in the middle of the building, and I decided to do all brand new split units, which are heating and air conditioning. They're all electric. So there's one right here now that's on, and it feels wonderful because there's just actual heat coming into me that I don't have to use from firewood. But yeah, that was the worst part. It's just coming down to like you'd be at home in bed watching TV, like in your underwear, like relaxing. And then you'd be like, okay, time to put my fucking snow clothes on, get up in the middle of the night, come down here, shovel for like an hour, and then put wood on the fire. And then you'd be like, all right, I did that. Sucked. Come home, go to bed, wake up in the morning, get here, and then find out that the wood you put on actually put the fire out and the building's totally cold. And
No.
it was a nightmare. It sucked.
I do actually have some questions for you guys.
Yeah.
It's because like I've only got one member of staff at the moment. We've got like subcontractor-y people out there. But it's like, what kind of targets and things do you give your staff so that they feel like they're reaching those kind of targets and you can kind of monitor them? Like, what kind of things do you do?
Mocking and shame.
Mock and shame. Okay. But do like each department know what they're aiming at, or is it kind of just like, oh, you're doing a good job? Or
yeah. For us, I kind of do a little bit differently than Andy, but like for us, each department kind of the people who are in that department, I try to keep staff real low, like as low as possible. And each person or persons in that department is kind of like the head of that department.
okay.
So for them, it's like their baby. You know what I mean? They're not just like a staff member that's just like, I'm just working here today, whatever. Hope my boss doesn't get pissed at me. They're kind of like
accountable.
Right. They're accountable for that department, but I feel like they take a lot of pride in that department. You know what I mean? Like cool art comes in and, we're excited to get it in sales, but then when the art department gets it, he's excited to do the steps and see how it's going to come out. And then, obviously the screen guys, like I think everybody's just trying to keep up with everybody else and we're all kind of on the same team. And then we all do a lot of stuff together, which is like, I know a lot of people talk about company culture and it's like, I feel like to a degree it gets cheesy because people try to create company culture, which to me seems really weird and sketchy. And I wouldn't want to be a part of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like planning things to be like, let's do team building. It's like, I don't want to team build. I just want to actually fucking hang out with these people. So I try to like do stuff with them as much as possible. Like, and this is just to like, cause I want to actually hang out with them, like movie night on Thursdays or take them out to steak or, we get food and hang out together. We do a lot of grilling in the summertime. So I feel like getting staff and just treating them like you're not the boss and like you're kind of like they know you're in charge and they know like you can easily fire them or whatever, but like they feel like they're part of the crew, not necessarily just an employee.
Cool.
Andy
Andy
cracks the whip. See, Andy distances himself.
I don't know. That's a really good question. I think I don't there aren't any targets that I know that I can talk about. So
you whiteboard and you do production meetings
well, that's true. Yeah. So the production meetings aren't though, they're more or less just a game plan, like here's our day. Here's what, here's a couple of things to look out for. And I guess that's team building because, and for a moment we just tell a few stories, it's not all business, just for like a greeting in the morning, or just sort of like a mental calisthenics, I guess you would say. So we're kind of coming together saying hi and talking about what we're trying to achieve by the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But there isn't like a target, like a quota or anything like that. Or there isn't, when I heard the question, what kind of targets do you have or do you give your team? That I instantly thought, okay, well, I think she means, are we going for like, here's what happened last week or here's what happened last month and here's what we want to do this month, like that sort of thing. Is that what you're asking?
Maybe, because it's kind of like, I'm just reading a lot at the moment and they're like, oh, you have to have targets for everybody and everyone has to have a number. But I'm thinking like, I can't give a press operator, oh, you have to do 1,000 shirts because it could be like multicolor, it could be two-sided, like, it could be like, how are they going to meet that?
You can't do that there because there's way too many variables. And then if you set a really high goal for the day and be like, you have to get this amount of done, they're going to sacrifice quality somewhere to make sure they get that shit done. You know what I mean? Like there could be a job where they know they could tweak something a little bit and make the print a little bit better. Yeah, it's passable for the customer, but they're like, I got to get this job done, because if I don't get this job done, I can't get to my quota for the end of the day. So like with my guys, I just tell them, like, no matter what, take your time, make sure the job is done 100%. And then like I said, obviously they know, they take pride. They want to get as many jobs done in the day as we can, just so we're good on the schedule. But it's like, they need to know that it's their job. Like, I'm not going to be breathing down their neck all day with charts and being like, well, 2 months ago we did this many jobs today. And it's like, yeah, but I had 5 jobs in a row that have sleeves or that have 5 color front, 5 color back. That's why it's funny, because like our 2 main press operators, like, they don't talk about it. They talk shit about each other to us in the office, but they won't talk shit to each other and be like, well, I did 12 jobs today. And the other one's like, I did 3 jobs today. It's like, you can't say that. Like you can't equate your jobs. You might have done 12 jobs today, but you probably did like 12 one color front, one color back jobs. And then the other press probably did like 500 both sleeves. And then like did, side prints on something that was complicated and he had to use a foot pedal on all day. And it's like, it's not the same. You can't say that both presses need to get 15 jobs done a day or they're not doing it right.
No, I didn't think it was. I was just trying to tell them that they're doing a good job. Apart
high
from
fives. The answer to this question is high fives. You just run around doing super hard high fives all day long.
I would say a few things to that. We don't have quotas, so I don't know. For example, Monday, I have no idea how many shirts. There's no target shirt count to hit or anything like that. We have jobs that are due that we have to get done that, so we have to stay on schedule, but there aren't any targets. I think that as far as saying, you're doing a good job, I think you should acknowledge that often, and because otherwise then it's a matter of then it kind of comes down to kind of pointing out when they're doing a bad job, because that happens a lot, because that's a learning opportunity, right? Hey, this got messed up. What happened? How did it get messed up? Is it something that is one of our processes that doesn't work anymore? Do we need to develop and evolve into something different? Yeah. Is it negligence? Like, are you drunk? Like, are you hungover or whatever? You know what I mean? Is that kind of thing? So I think that, if there's that going on where you're trying to avoid, when something goes wrong and you're talking about it and huddling up and saying, why did it go wrong? Then you also, when something goes right, not every single time, but when you have a great day and you kill it, or if you have a job that looks fantastic, that just from the art room to the pre-press to on the press, I mean, it just looks great, then point it out and say, wow, this looks amazing. Like, that's fantastic. Then that's good to acknowledge too. So it's not always, like punishing, just like when you have a kid, are you trying to reinforce behavior by punishing them all the time, or by telling them they did a good job, positive reinforcement. And so I think that's important. And I think
I got something I got to interrupt those real quick before it leaves my mind.
Here we go.
What color is Andy's hoodie?
Vintage white.
You fucker.
Is it?
Shut it off.
Is it?
It is. Absolutely.
That's so funny.
Absolutely is vintage white. Thank you.
I don't want to do this podcast anymore.
Thank you.
You didn't even I came, I didn't, yeah.
I win. Finally, one time I got
You called her. You knew ahead of time that I was going to ask this.
Nope.
Anyway, back to your guys' bullshit story.
No, that's important. Oh yeah. The last part to that, I got it. So that data that I think is because you were saying something about that had to do with data, and I think like TC, Tyler pointed that out. Like, he loves that sort of data, and I think that we have that capability. Although when we built out Monday for our scheduling, we have in there this part that we can include lots of great notes, and then also put a stopwatch on how long it takes to print this job, or how long it takes to set up, this job, and things like that.
Well, that's because
I really like that, but not for the fact of, hey, why did we only print X amount of shirts today, or, why? More so, if there is a problem, like let's say, for example,
spotting bottlenecks.
Yeah, you're spotting bottlenecks. Like let's say there is a problem for like 6 jobs in a row, Brandon's artwork has failed, and so it's not then to go get Brandon in trouble and, hey, Brandon, you're fired, get out of here. It's more like to go like, hey, your 6 jobs in a row failed. It was because you're doing this and you're not trapping this right or whatever. And so whatever you're doing is not working, and let's fix it. You know what I mean? So that data right there is really good, I think, to keep track of. And I wish we were better at. And Tyler said he was going to do that for free for us, I think. Didn't he say something about that? He was offering that service. I'm
saying it right now. Yeah. He said he was going to do it all for all 3 of us, I think.
I heard it just now.
Yeah. We'll hit him up after this. I'm sure he has to do it now.
I don't know. Did that answer? Hope our.
Yeah, no, that was really good. Yeah.
What else
I think part of it.
Translate it to any business.
I think quickly though, I think a part of it is like our job as owners is to supply our employees with the best possible tools that we can afford for their department and what they're doing. And I think all 3 of us, I feel like, are in that same boat where we just want to put out the best stuff we can put out. But like our employees feel way more motivated to do their job because they know they can do it really well with what they have. Like for me specifically, like one thing we just did is we got like a new ink system. So like I just gave the new white to the guys and they were both like doing their own tests and they both love it. And they're like, oh, like for us here in the Northeast, it gets really cold. So with this new white, we found out, and this wasn't the selling point. I didn't know this was going to be the case, but like our old white in the morning when it's really cold was like super thick, and we would have like ghosting issues in the morning and like all this other stuff. So we'd have to like warm the ink up a bunch, stir it a bunch before we could print a job. With this new white, they take it right out of the turnabout in the morning, put it in the screen, prints awesome, super creamy, whatever. I feel like that alone made them stoked all week long, knowing that they could go right into their first jobs in the morning, like headache free. You know what I mean? If you're using like good squeegees and you're keeping up on keeping them sharp, or you're keeping up on good screens, it just gives them less headaches all day long to where they know they can just do what they're meant to do. They get there, they grab the jobs, they put them on press, they print the job. It's, as headache free as possible, go on to the next job. I feel like if you're just a boss that's just like, this is what I want to pay for because I'm counting pennies in the office,
and we've always done it this way,
make it work or whatever. They're just like, this fucking sucks. Like, I hate printing this job every time because the red always looks like shit, or these screens have no tension. So I have to spend 45 minutes every job, like trying to re-register everything. It's like, it's important for us as owners to keep up on that stuff so that they can get through things. It's better for us anyway, because it gets through jobs way faster, but it also makes them happier because it's less shit they have to deal with every day.
Yeah. I mean, we do a thing now where I personally don't print on Fridays. Like, I'm just completely off press and we just do development stuff.
Can we do that?
The whole day.
That sounds awesome.
Probably because like the dip tank, like we didn't have a dip tank, which is just crazy now. I find new chemicals which just make everything quicker, and it just pays off like instantly. Like,
you should watch the episode that comes out not Monday, the next Monday. It's all about dip tanks.
We talked to Alex from Easy Way.
Oh, do you?
So.
Oh, he'd love me at the moment. I'm just bumming Easy Way on Instagram and stuff.
See, there you go.
Yeah, it's but that's from like a book that I read about. It's called 2 Second Lean, and it was like he goes around trying to find tiny little tweaks. So instead of like me just happening waiting for the problem to come about, I'm like going around trying to make everything more efficient.
Right.
Is that Scott? I guess
as part of the day.
I think Scott from.
I feel like we've talked about lean. 2 Second Lean a few times.
Yeah, I need to read it. I told Scott I was gonna, and then I haven't.
I've talked about this a few times, and I think we've all talked about this a few times, but we're the ones doing the research. We're the ones reading books like 2 Second Lean, all this other stuff. Our employees aren't doing that. They're just coming to work every day doing what they do. So that's why I was saying it's important for us to like you said, if you take Fridays to go into another department of your business and like just do that job for the day, and you can be like, holy shit, like we should be doing this, or I could buy this person this for this department, or like make this faster. And that just makes things so much faster.
Do you remember in school when you had, like, it was in reading or whatever class it was, like elementary school, and then they'd go around and you would have to, let's say you're reading this book and you would have to read a page, it was like your turn. It was like, okay, Andy, your turn for the page. And so you'd read the page. That's what we could do here in our production meetings. And so we're going to get 2-second lean. And then it's like, okay, it's Nathan, you got this page. And then we just go around and reread it. Just like you said, the employees don't read it, but hey, we all read 2-second lean.
But you know what the problem with that is? And this is the problem that I had in school when they did that, is that the entire time I was looking at only my page being like, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. Like this, like you're not thinking about what anyone else is saying. You're just looking over your own paragraph. And then you start the sentence anyway and you stutter and you're like, damn it. So that's the problem with that.
Yeah. I would definitely get your guys on a book club thing. Because I do it with my brothers and sisters because they have businesses as well. So I tell them the books to read, they tell me the books to read. So I've got that kind of book club. But if I had loads of employees, I'd just give them all the books.
One thing that I do is I'm constantly watching a bunch of YouTube videos, and because people like you are always putting out content, little things, and I'll always watch them just because that's what interests me. But I'll always find little nuggets in there. Like somebody will do something on basic screen cleaning or something, and I'll see the way somebody does something or uses a certain tool, and I'm like, holy shit, that makes a lot of sense. I just have a folder of all these videos and all these articles I've read and stuff that I just forward to my employees to be like, hey, I don't even care if it takes an hour of your day. Read this. I'll pay for that hour. And then just constantly watch this. So that's something I really want to do once we finish the renovation and stuff, is just maybe certain days, sit them down for up-to-date training or something every so often and just be watch this video or, this is, because the funny thing is a lot of times they see us as the boss and we're like, oh, I learned this new technique. And they're like, fuck off. You think you know everything or whatever, but then you show them a video of somebody else doing it and they're like, oh, okay. I trust that guy. But when you tell me, it's just you're just pulling shit out of your ass.
Are you not on the press very much? Is that why?
Yeah. Yeah. That's 100% it. Is I sit here in
Where
the
did
office.
they think you started? You're obviously on the press to start with. So you've got your foundation.
I just always looking. I mean, like I said, for us, for me, this is my hobby, but it's also my business. It's what I'm interested in. So I'm constantly looking up things or doing podcasts or something like this. So do you got any other questions for us? I like when people ask us stuff. This is awesome.
I suppose you guys are your own mentors, your own groups. Then that's probably why you're doing the podcast and stuff. What's your reason for doing the podcast apart from just wanting to chat to people? Do you have a bigger goal for it? Is it to drum up business? Or is it to just
Dylan's doing it for free tea. That's his main motivation, is though he's hoping to get some tea out of it. But for me, it is exactly what you just said, is to chat with people. And because we were doing it anyway. Dylan and I were chatting, or Success Print Shop and I were chatting, or Juan at Squeegee Prints, we were chatting, or whoever, we're always, it seemed like anyway, we were chatting on the weekends. And so we decided, hey, let's start recording this, and maybe somebody would care to listen. And then what's interesting, I think anyway, what's happening is that we're sharing way more information than I ever thought was possible. I'm learning more than I thought was possible. I'm making friends, more friends, because I didn't have any friends. And so
we've had more than an hour of content just on Andy's body.
Yeah.
on your fitness routines.
Fitness, his feet, his ball girth. Mm-hmm. All of that has been on this podcast.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's for me. And why if nothing else happens from this podcast and that I just make some friends, then that's enough for me. If I ever make it over to England and I stop by, and then we can go to a pub, and
yeah. So we do pubs properly, don't we?
Play some rugby.
I like bars in America, but pubs are proper. They're so old, and they've got that history.
I've never been. I would love to do it. Love to go there.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you straight up that we don't do this at all for marketing for our own companies to like make money and drive sales, because it just doesn't happen. It's only going to other print shops. The other part of it is, it's funny. It's definitely not for money, because two things: it's costing us money to do it, and time and hours of just doing it. But the other thing is we have a sponsor, Inksoft, and we have never once sent them. Yeah. We have never once sent them an invoice to like pay for their sponsorship. So like,
sad.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Is like, it just, for us, it's literally just, it's Sundays usually it's at 5:00. Today it was 2:00 because of your time change or whatever. But like, it's just my Sunday to hang out with my buddy Andy, and we talk to a new print shop, and we just learn and we discuss stuff that's on our minds, and it's fun. It's fun to do.
Yeah, and JP, I know if you're listening that you would pay that invoice immediately. I know you would. Yeah. But we have failed to ever send an invoice. We probably should do that.
Whose job it is to send it.
Yeah, Dylan, that's your fault, right?
No.
Oh, is it mine? Yeah, we gotta get on top of that. I had a question. So what is your best $100 or less purchase for the shop? Or I guess it can be for anything in life. Yeah. So $100 or less for the shop or for life or for anything. Yeah.
That's really hard. I don't know. $100 or less.
We can make that the ink.
What's your favorite supply to buy?
I think I like the chemicals and the inks and things. I love like mixing up new inks, and I kind of want to. What's his name? Do you know this? I've completely gone blank on what his name is, but he's always trialing out new inks.
Danny?
And it's like really massive high builds, and I don't know his first name. I only know his business name.
Is it from Denver Print House?
No.
Is it from the United States or from somewhere else?
The internet.
I had to block him. I had to unfollow him, not block him, unfollow him, because I just used to ask him so many questions and he never answered anything. So I was probably pissing him off. So I retracted myself. But he does like all the high builds and all of that type of thing. So I do some of that for myself. Do you know, like, you're like, oh, what your hobbies outside screen printing? And I'm like, screen printing. And it's like,
that's my problem, is that like I have friends that are into music and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, when I want to do something fun, I come back here.
Yeah.
And they're just like, that's sad. And I'm like, it's not sad. This is what I do. This is my life. Like, this is my whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
make your own artwork. Like,
yeah, it's like what I want to do.
What's cooler than making your own shirts? I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Maybe go to a recording studio, but I think it's like our recording studio. It's like we can just make whatever we want, and people actually buy it. So that's fun too.
Do you have like a most inspiring job that's like changed your business?
I think it was the computer panel ones. Changed the business. Just working with, there's an artist in Qatar that we work with. So she's a really awesome artist. And we just get so excited when she sends us our artwork, because it's always like some super complicated, crazy, like 8-10 color thing that we do. We've only got a 6 color press, so we have to figure out how the bloody hell to do it. But that's really fun. And she's so lenient with us. She's like, oh no, everything's perfect. Just do it however you want. Always picks the nicest quality hoodies, and the fact that she's in Qatar is a bit novelty for us, so we can send it over. And we've got customers all around the world, so that feels good. Yeah, she's probably like our top favorite customer, probably.
That's awesome.
Just because the artwork's so difficult, it's challenging, and it feels good when it goes on. Yeah.
We have that too. We have like a couple artists that are just like top shelf artists, and they always give us like the best clients to do stuff for. And it's like, you gotta treat those guys like guys or girls super well. Like, do anything you can for them, feed them as much work as you can feed them, because those are the people that send you the best stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
We've been saying no a lot recently. So it's like, we're getting rid of, I know what I don't want to work on anymore. And I thought it was like, going to ruin us by saying no to lots of people, but actually it's been the most, like, the best thing ever. Because we used to do that thing that you said you nearly got into, like reacting to all their requests, and all their timescales are all over the place and it's super erratic and crazy. That customer's gone now. I just said, no, sorry, can't handle it. I managed it for 2 years and I'm just done. And that just frees us up to do the really nice jobs. So,
or just spend more time. Or just spend more time focusing on your good customers you already have.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are really hung up on like, I need to get new people. It's like, you already have a ton of like good clients that come back to you all the time. Like, how about maybe instead of like a 2 to 3 week turnaround for everybody, you give those people like a week turnaround all the time, or like you hit them up more often, or you send them some kind of like discount code or something more often. And it's like, you can survive on the customers you have. You just need to take care of them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So back to Inksoft, our sponsor. Which, by the way,
do you use anything like that? Any kind of shop management software or Inksoft or
for online stores?
Yours is Inksoft. I thought you'd be Printavo or something. No, so I looked into.
We
Printavo.
do love Bruce.
Yeah.
Have you seen his bobblehead, by the way?
I have.
Yes, yeah. He's after my mini squeegees, you know. He's after my mini squeegees.
Oh, those are yours?
These ones are mine.
I saw you had one.
Printavo's ones. He's got some other versions, but mine are all varnished and stuff. Da-da-da. I'll send you guys one.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But he wants those, but with obviously Printavo written on them. Yeah, I might do it, but he has to order a shit ton of them to get them. But yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So what do you do for online stores?
Online stores, we don't particularly have online stores. We don't like host other people's. Is that what you mean? Like host other people's brands?
Right.
Don't really do it yet. But for shop management, I just use like Asana, which is like a free kind of calendar project management one. And yeah, I haven't actually seen Inksoft. So there you go. The advertising is working. I'm writing in my little notepad.
Well, like for us, like me and Andy with Inksoft, like we're not using the shop management part or anything. We're just using the stores platform. It's not that there's anything wrong with any of their other things at all. It's just for me, I was looking for a solution for like online stores. And I'm one of those guys that does a bunch of research on different brands and different companies, and I find out which one works the best for me, not necessarily like this one's the most popular right now. Inksoft was definitely one of the most popular ones, but it ended up being the one that worked out. But it is super nice. Like you get, like I don't do a ton of schools or anything, but I do a few, and it's nice where they just are like, hey, do you want to do like a pre-sale store? It's like you can make so much money off of that, just setting up like
pre-sale ones. That's what I was going to ask you. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you react to like 2 shirts here, 5 shirts here?
Well, it's not that though. It's not that like right now we have a school that's somewhat close to us. It doesn't even have to be. Like we do schools in like Michigan and stuff like that. Well, they'll just be like, hey, here's our school logo, like 2 different versions. And I'll be like, okay, let's do a tee, a long sleeve, and a hoodie for each design. So they'll have a tee, long sleeve, and a hoodie for one design, same for the next design. We'll be like, all right, we're going to run this for 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, we're going to print everything that's sold and we're going to ship it directly to customer.
Okay.
And the best part for them is it's like the old school way in their head is like, they're thinking, okay, I have to manage this. I have to print off flyers. I have to give them to every kid to take home. The parents have to send me fucking baggies of quarters or like dollars or checks. And I have to be in, it's like with the online store, they don't have to do any of that. They literally just send out an email that's like, if you want Spiritwear, like go to this link and you buy it and it'll show up directly to your door in a package. And
not just an email, you could share it on Facebook or anything, you know? So like if you don't have everyone's email, maybe you have somebody following, or maybe they all follow you on Facebook or your friends on Facebook. You can just share the link on Facebook. You know? So it's very.
I didn't know you did it deadlined like that. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's one of the ways. It's not. Yeah, you can do it a bunch of different ways, and we do use Inksoft for our regular fulfillment stores. So like every week we're just fulfilling orders for customers. But I'm just saying, like if you just got it alone for pre-sale orders, it'll pay itself off. Like, it's totally worth it.
When you build the store, you have an option to put a countdown on it. You know, like you could say the store closes on.
And there's an actual timer on the store too. You can put it on there and take it off. It says like, hey, order before this date, or.
And you could choose to use a timer, or you could choose to use a dollar amount. So you could say, hey, we're trying to raise $1,000, for example, if it's a fundraising store. We want to raise 100,000. Here's our target of 100,000. You could do 100,000.
Like 100,000.
When we did the support store, our target was 10,000, and I think we hit like 30,000 or something, you know? So I know some people that actually did do 100,000. So, I mean, that's pretty cool too. So that's a pretty cool feature. You could just have or you could have both. You could have a countdown timer, and then you can also have like this goal amount that you want to reach. So there's that option.
Well, for you, because you don't know about it, and we're just kind of talking about it. Like, the biggest thing for me is like, I look at certain things like that and I'm like, I get discouraged because I'm like, I don't want to take the time to like figure out how to set up these stores and do all this stuff. Like, for me, the reason why I picked Inksoft is because it's super just like user friendly, and I can literally hop on, upload the artwork, put all the items in, set up the whole store in probably 10 minutes. Like, it's just go on, put in the name you want to call the store, upload the artwork for like the logo at the top, put in what you want, and it's done.
If you decide to do it, tell them that Andy from SureConk sent you.
Right, not Dylan.
Okay.
They have a sponsored question, and I've been. I heard this podcast from Joe Rogan, and it was Tom Green was on it, and I'm like, oh my god, Tom Green. Like, I used to watch Tom Green all the time. And so Tom Green is doing something pretty cool and is what I wanted to do, and I've wanted to do for a while. And he got this camper van. Like, he converted a Ram 2500 delivery van with a 159-inch wheelbase. I know all of the details. If you hit me up, I know it all. But he didn't convert. Actually, these guys called Boho out of... I think they're Arizona. They converted this delivery van into like this camper van, and they put solar on the roof so he can go off grid, you know, like and bug out and anywhere, and he can get solar. He has propane to make, you know, burgers or whatever he wants to make. Yeah. And
long story short, he has a van he lives in.
Right now, this is well, no, he has a house too, but he has this van right now.
I'm just trying to shorten this. You were talking about propane. Pretty sure you're going to go into the PSI of his tires.
You got to maintain a balanced tire pressure across all four. But he, so I want to do this. Like, I wanted to get this van and then drive through like the Southwest, you know, the desert, and then go up like through the Rockies, and then end up in Maine, or maybe they're separate trips. I don't know, but I want to go. I think it's really, really important to go for a long time because we've talked about this in other podcasts, but you have to go for more than just a week or two. You have to go for quite a bit before you really detach. And so I wanted to do this for a while. So the question is, in a very long story short, what adventure do you is on your mind? Like, what's your dream adventure?
That's literally what it is. It's on we've got this board up here, and it's like year by year, like what stage we're going to get to. And there is a stage, I think it's like, let me just
see, Dylan, what do you think of that? It's literally what it is.
I think it's like 20.
I feel like everybody wants to do
2028. Yeah, but you got to carve it in. So ours is 2028.
Wait. 2028, like 7 years from now, you mean? Or 8 years from now?
Yeah. Sounds insane, but that's how long it's going to take to like get our hands off the studio, get a big enough team ready so that we can go do that. Also, this is kind of morbid, but it's waiting for our pets to leave. Die. So
wait.
Hold on. She said leave.
I didn't want to say die, but we're waiting for our pets to die a little bit.
And then in 2028, they have to murder their pets because it doesn't work with their plan.
No, they're rabbits, so their life expectancy is pretty much around there. Obviously,
well, you know, Tom Green.
That sounds really harsh.
Tom Green took his dog along with him. I don't know about rabbits. You could probably pull that off, and maybe even easier, right? Because
they're house rabbits. They're trained, but I don't know. It'd be a bit stressful. but that's like, yeah, we've literally carved it in. It's on my board over here.
So that's your thing. You're going to get a camper van. Is that the thing?
A camper van. It's like basically almost a truck. But we were trying to think whether we want to put screen printing in it or just make it like a touring studio kind of thing. Like when we can.
Andy just wants to get the fuck out of here. He just wants to go away. He wants nothing to do with printing.
My brother just converted his camper van in the front. It's really cool. He's got like shower and that. It's just for day trips because his kids are little, but yeah, it's not. He's properly kitted out though, like recessed lighting and kitchen and all sorts in there. TV.
And you're going to drive that around where? Where are you going to take it? Just
right across America. Yeah.
Ooh, America.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Think about Europe, but it's a bit, no, it's not enough interesting things for us, like print-wise, because we have to that's both our like massive interest anyway. So we might as well make it kind of a work holiday.
Do you guys in the UK think about America as like this land that would be cool to travel across as much as we think about traveling over there and exploring everything over there?
Probably. Like every opportunity I've tried to go to America. So like I've been to like New York and California, and Hawaii's out of there, isn't it? Like 5 hours off the coast. I've been to quite a few spots, but it's just you've got like the complete range of landscape, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Whereas we're like very tepid. Like, I don't know what you're coming here for, the rain or we've got some nice landscapes and we've got nice things, but yeah, you guys have got everything over there. You can be in one state and be in mountains and the sea.
Well, the thing about over there is you guys have stuff that's like super, super old. Yeah. Like in the US, we only have stuff from, a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So we want to go over there and see like cool shit that's just like, oh, wow, this is still standing.
Yeah. And I've heard things like if you go to Italy and you eat their pasta, that you don't have to worry about gluten allergies and things like that, because just their grains and the way they grow the wheat and everything, it's better. Maybe it's more organic. I don't know. But here, people have, I don't know. Well, we have mac and cheese.
No, it's grass is always greener, I think. But
yeah,
that's true.
I think
England
that's a lot
would be a really, really cool place to visit. So
yeah.
I'll give you a lot of recommendations.
All right. Well, we have some quick takes, some real quick questions that we'll trade off and on. And the first one is, what is your best recent meal?
It's this thing called street food. It's like chips topped with like loads of stuff. It's just a little kind of street food guy from our
like a
town.
nachos thing?
No, like fries.
Kind of like what you'd put on top of nachos, but it's chips.
It's French fries, like is what you call chips, you mean? Like, or what do you mean?
Yeah, you're calling them French fries, yeah.
Yeah.
Chips and, French fries. Like confusing.
Her chips are our fries.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. That sounds good. Yeah. I'd eat that.
What was the last book you read, or I guess audiobook?
I'm still reading. I like switch on and off all the audiobooks. Traction. I'm trying to get through that. It's got a little bit heavy. A bit boring, but it's about setting performance goals in your business. That's why I asked you about it. Giving everybody targets, giving everybody numbers, and doing like daily huddles and that type of thing. Yeah.
I think that would be a good book for me to read before I go to bed, because it would make me go to bed. Yeah. It's a bit dry. So I had to mix it up with, what's that SAS guy, the Navy SEAL? If I run, I listen to the Navy SEAL.
I feel like I get
David Goggins?
Yeah. I listen to him if I'm running, because he makes me feel bad about stopping. Yeah. You broke your leg and you're still running, so I should probably get round.
I feel like if I'm doing an audiobook or I'm doing something like that, it has to be something that's not my industry related, and it gives me inspiration to do something in my industry. Because I feel like if it's just like printer stuff over and over again, it's we're just going in circles. But if you go into some other industry, it's like for me, the trades, like carpenters or plumbers or electricians, like hearing them talk about their problems and struggles or like things that they did to get out of it. It's all the same shit. They're all just making something. It's just, a little bit different. So
you're saying there's something in common we have.
There's something in common with like every kind of business. And plus, like I said, some business might do some kind of marketing thing that like we never think of. And then you hear their story and you're like, oh shit, like I could totally apply that to this.
Mm-hmm. No,
like for me, putting tape on screens before coating them, I'm going to blow your fucking minds.
Revolutionary, Dylan.
Yeah, I know.
So this is left over from our last podcast, a question, but I thought I'd ask it anyway because I want to know if you have one. But what will you be doing on Black Friday?
Working. We're booked up until just like nothing in particular. I don't think we are trying to press the pre-exposed screen, so it might be a pre-exposed screen offer, maybe. Or we're trying to get to 20K on Instagram, so it might be something about that, like tag and follow or something. We haven't done that before, so it might be something like that. Not sure. Haven't got a plan.
Andy, I don't want to ask this question. Andy wrote these questions, so I just want to preface this with this. He likes to go deep. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, and emotionally?
Or emotionally. Yeah, I got that question from inside the Actors Guild. They ask that question every time.
I think I'm like much better, like emotionally now, because I used to get really super stressed out. Like if I'd probably get like minor road rage, not bad, but I'd get stressed by everything. So actually reading a couple of like mindset books and just like figuring out why I'm having those thoughts, I'm just much more chill now. Like I can't think of anything that would stress me out. Like even if a job went wrong and I had to give a refund, I'd be like, yep, here you go. Sorry that happened. What else can I do for you? But I'm not stressed. I'm not carrying it for the whole day anymore. Whereas if I used like, I don't know, anything happened in the morning, I'd be like, oh, it's such a bad day. And I'd carry it right the way through. And that bad day wouldn't end until the next time I woke up. So yeah, there's a lot to be said about like having a good mindset, I think. And people are talking about it a lot more. So yeah. I
agree. Yeah, that's a hard one to let go because I think as business owners, you are, you try so hard, at least I think most people do. And I know I do. I try so hard to be, perfect, to be this, it has to be, and everything's my fault. If this goes wrong or that goes wrong, well, that's my fault. And so when it goes wrong, I take it personally. I'm invested financially, I'm invested emotionally, and here this went wrong, and I would be hard. I couldn't let it go. I just couldn't let it go. And then, like you said, move on to the next thing and
let it go.
I would let it. That's right. It would. You need to. You really, really do. And I'm the same way as you are now. I don't let it bother me because I look at the bigger picture. I'm like, look, this is a great day, or this has been a great week or a great month. And this one job, of course, there's going to be a job that goes wrong. Of course, that's just part of it. It's inevitable that something sometimes is going to go wrong, and so you can choose how to react to that. You can get pissed off you
definitely can,
or you can say, hey, it happened, it's okay, we'll get them on the next one. Strikes and gutters, man.
Yeah, I used to take every single job personally, like a personal emotional attack, but it's just there's like a point where you just have to mellow out and just chill out and just let it go, because you're trying your best all the time. So yeah, exactly.
I feel like this is one of those things that like not a lot of people like to talk about though, but like the truth of it is like for me personally, for our beginnings and like kind of how I grew up a little bit, is like the thing that stressed me out for the longest time was just like finances, like having our money situation figured out. Because like if I wasn't doing great in the business, like as far as like I knew how much money I had in the account or all this other stuff, anytime we messed something up or we were late or whatever, I would always be looking at like, okay, now I'm going to have to spend a bunch on overnight, or now I'm going to have to spend a bunch on like fixing this job or all this other stuff. And I feel like for years it was like always on my mind of like, am I going to have enough money for payroll? Am I going to have enough to pay for this or do this or do this? And it's like, it took me years and years to like get to where I'm at and get like a level head on the finance stuff. But I feel like if you actually spend the time to figure your shit out and like get it to where you have a lot saved in your bank account and taken care of, like 90% of my stress went away, because now I know if we mess up a job, it sucks. Like nobody wants to do that, but I know I have money in the bank to be like, I can fix this, or I can do this, or I know every Friday I have money in there for payroll, or I know the bills are paid. Like, I don't think every time the phone rings, it's going to be somebody being like, where's my money? You know what I mean? It's like, it's just always done. It's always taken care of. And I feel like for most business owners, that's the stress.
Are you going to say you did Profit First? No.
I did read Profit First. I didn't implement Profit First, but that was one of the things that like, Profit First definitely was one of the big sparks that got me into. There was a couple things I read and a couple like just things I did on the internet and looked up that really got me in the right direction.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the best thing that ever happened to me as far as a business owner, because like I said, it gives me a clear head to do all the other things I want to do.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is just making sure your shit's paid for up front. And then whatever you have left over is the money you play with. Don't play with the money that isn't yours. Like, don't go buy stuff with stuff that's not your money because you owe somebody, or you owe, you have bills to pay. I feel like that was the biggest stress for me. But now that, I mean, like I said, it sucks to say that like money cures all things, but like as a business owner, when you're dealing with goods and services and all this other stuff, it's like, if you have a good amount saved, or you have reserves or whatever, when problems come up, you don't immediately think of like, oh fuck, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to order these, or what am I going to do? It's, you can take care of it and then just move on. So that for me was the biggest thing.
I would look at a mistake, because you were just saying when something goes wrong, when you're going to have to fix this, you're going to have to overnight this or whatever, or like you said, you're going to have to refund their money or something like that. I kind of flipped it and started to look at it like a marketing opportunity. Like we don't really have a marketing budget, so we don't spend any money on marketing. We should probably, but we don't. And but I think anytime that we mess up, that's our chance right there to spend money on it. And so that is like, let's say we mess up an order and it's it's going to cost $500 to fix. Well, that comes out of the marketing budget, because no matter what, we're going to fix it. Like we're going to fix it. We're going to go beyond fixing it. Because we're sorry it happened. You're inconvenienced. You got to come back here, bring your stuff back here. You don't get your stuff on time, all these kind of things. Then we're going to wow you with this apology in a sense, that we messed up, because that's marketing. Because if you don't do that, if somebody doesn't have a good experience with you, with your shop, then they're going to tell people about it. They're going to say, oh, I went to Shirkong, they messed up my shirts. Like I'm not going back there, and you shouldn't either. But if you mess up their order and you do everything you can to fix it, then they're going to tell everybody that Shirkong's awesome. I learned that when I went out, and I'll try and keep this story short. Sorry, Dylan, but this will be an abbreviated version, quick version of this. So we went out. In
this story, tell us what you did for breakfast. Tell us where you ate lunch.
Well, it all started.
Like, the relative humidity.
Well, it's St. Louis, very humid. But no, so we went out for brunch. All right. Went out to brunch, a place called First Watch. And
not important.
The host, his name was, the host had no idea who he was. But,
good. Keep going.
We put our names down, right? And so we're in line, and and then like people started coming in, and they were getting sat before us that we were clearly there before them. And then all of a sudden, like he sees us and he makes eye contact, and he's like, he realizes that he forgot about us. So he comes over and he says, come with me. And he sets us down, and we just order our regular stuff. And then next thing we know, like this pancake comes out, and it's like a pumpkin pancake. And we said, hey, we didn't order this. And then he was like, he said it's on it's on us today. We're like, oh, cool. And so we had then another pancake come out. It's chocolate chip. Then another pancake. He kept sending out pancakes, just one, but like every single kind of pancake they made. And we never forgot. I still never forgot that. This happened like 8 years ago or something. And I've never forgot that he realized that he messed up and he just took care of us. And plus they paid for the meal. And he didn't just pay for the meal and say, hey, sorry, check, it's on us today. He kept sending out like these extras. And so I don't know, I really like that. And so we do the same thing here. I try to remember, and sometimes it doesn't escalate to me, so I don't hear about every single problem, but I try and relay that message, and everybody kind of knows if something goes wrong, do whatever you can to fix it and then go beyond fixing it.
Yeah.
That's part of that story is that he wiped his ass with every single one of those pancakes.
Which was from the movie Road Trip, which starred Tom Green.
Right.
Circle, Dylan.
But Andy, what kind of thing do you do? Do you just have like a department that sorts out all your finances, or are you quite in it? Like, you must have some kind of system.
I have a CPA, so she does all of our main accounting stuff, right? We use for our invoicing, we use QuickBooks, and so she has a login, and they go and every month they reconcile, and she gives us the P&L and she balances everything out. As far as like just banking, I just sign on online banking balance checkbook just like I always have. But I'm not in the finance. I don't like Tyler. He's going to do all that for us. I think he said he was going to do that, right? This TC screen printing. You got to look.
He's taking over our accounting, right?
He said he was going to take over our accounting too,
right?
Because I'm just not very good at looking at numbers, or maybe I would be good at it. I just don't. That's not something I'm interested in necessarily. Yeah. Like I do. So I look at the year over year. So because I'm interested in that. Like, what's our company snapshot? And QuickBooks has this really easy feature. I just go company snapshot. And I look at what did we do in, like, for example, where's our November 2019, and are we on track, or what's that? I kind of care about that because I don't know. There's a lot of people here that are on payroll and they have mortgages and families and things like that. And so it's important that we're always trying to be as good as we were last year, or maybe a little better. And so, I mean, I guess that's important, and I want to, like, at the end of the month, have a couple bucks left over, So I think to do all this.
That's where the profit first thing comes in though, because they make you allocate every single Monday, everything that's in our bank account gets allocated into 4 different bank accounts. So I got all my taxes paid in this one. I've got my salaries in this one. And I never had that plan before. It was just like, what have you got in the bank? And I'd look at it in the morning, and if I'd just be panicking the whole time because I don't know what's going to happen that month, what I've got to pay for. But this is it's kind of like a diet plan for your finances, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like,
I have not read it, but I've
stress.
heard a lot of people that like it.
The thing I didn't like about it was all the bank accounts. Like, by the time you finish the book, he's like, well, you'll have 35 bank accounts. And I was just like,
they're all one bank, but there's just little pots.
No, I know. I get it. I'm being an asshole, but I'm just saying, the thing that I took from it was the fact of not necessarily just like the bank accounts, but a lot of like the idea is just to take out the money for, like, immediately take out what's yours, and then, profit first, like take that shit first or whatever. Yeah. But for me, it was more just like, because before what I would do is I would just like get the orders in and everything that's coming, and I would have a stack of like invoices of what I need to order. And then I would just like be like, all right, well, actually I know we need this thing, and I would buy it before I ordered blanks. You know what I mean? I would buy this thing, and I'd buy this thing, and then, I'd pay payroll or electric bill or whatever. And then I'd realize, oh shit, I didn't order. The money that came in were for people's orders, and I didn't even order the blanks for their orders yet. And then I would be like, oh shit, like I don't even have enough money right now to buy all those people's orders. So then you're constantly doing the, waiting for another order to come in to take that money to buy blanks for somebody from a week ago.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. That's how it was in the beginning, because I didn't know any better. I was just like, oh, this is how it is. Like, when more money comes in, I'll take that money and I'll buy the other things I need. That's what I'm saying. That's shitty. Like, I'll admit that. Like, I'm not embarrassed to say it because I figured that shit out. But like in the beginning, that's how it was. It's just like money was just like here, and I would do what I needed, and then I would figure the bills out later. And it's like, that's not what you should do. So basically what I do now is I buy everything like that day. Like, so if I get 10 orders to pay today, those 10 orders get ordered that day. And if they need anything, if they need some kind of transfer, if they need different inks, if they need this, I buy that stuff that day. So the only thing that I have to pay for after that is just the payroll for the people that make that shit in my shop at the end of the week. So like, I just am constantly like, everything's always paid off up front. So I don't have to think about it later of like, oh, I owe this person this, or I owe this. It's like, no, it's all done and over with. So that was pretty much how I did it. And I'm like Andy too. Like, I don't think at all about the other finances. Like, I have an accountant that does all that stuff for me, taxes, everything. I'm literally just buying goods. Like, that's my whole thing. It's just, I look at the bank account, I'm like, yeah, I got money. I buy goods. And then I just go back to watching YouTube videos and kitten videos and not actually working.
We don't come into these jobs like, oh, we're going to run a business. You come into it like learning a trade. And then the people who survive are the ones who learn about business.
Right.
So that's it, I think. It just like differentiates you from like someone doing a hobby or a side hustle or whatever it is. And the people who are going to scale it and actually employ people are people who know about that stuff.
I hear that so much, like on these podcasts too. Like, when I remember talking to Graphic Disorder, Brant, he's like, I'm just a guy from Indiana that prints shirts, you know, and now all of a sudden here I have this business I'm running, and, you know, he said he didn't know what he's doing, but the thing is like, he did learn along the way, you know, just like you said, you learn along the way how to run the business, even if there's parts of it you don't really like. They're just necessary. You got to do it, you know, to get.
Well, it's like every business owner that you ever talk to is like, they all think they're like the best business owner. They're like, oh, I have all my shit in order. But the truth of it is like, nobody has all their shit together. We're all figuring it out. We all fuck something up, and then we're like, I'm never doing that again. Like, that's literally how I've learned, is it's just like, I do something horribly wrong. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to do that again. And now I've just done so many horribly wrong things over 10 years that now I feel comfortable.
When you tape a screen and then you put the emulsion on it, you'll be like, I just lost that money right there. It's horrible.
Well, I'm going to do like 2 screens. So whatever. But I'm just saying, like, there's things that you learn all the time. And it's like, I feel like now with the amount of stuff that I've done, it's going to take something really big to like shock me if like,
if COVID didn't do it, then
right.
Then you're probably fine.
Yeah. And like we've done these podcasts and we've talked to other people and interview things or whatever. And they're like, oh, like, you know, you're so smart for doing this a certain way to survive COVID. It's like, dude, that was 100% dumb luck. All of it was like owning my building or having like spread out customers. It was just like, all that stuff was just because it's just what happened. None of it was planned. I wasn't like, in the case of a worldwide pandemic, I would be totally fine if I did it this way. It's like, no, it just worked out and I'm thankful for it. But again, I'm just a dude who loves screen printing, and the business side I have to figure out just because it's part of it, but I don't want to figure it out at all. I just want to be like, I just want to do more fun shit, really. That's all it boils down to. But like you said, you won't be successful if you don't figure it out to a degree. Like, you can't just wing it all the time.
Yeah. There's people doing things that I can see that it's not they can't scale it, or I can see that I can't see how they're making money out of it. And I'm just keep trying to ask like bigger shops like you guys, or like, I'm not like arrogant enough thinking like I know everything. I'm always asking, because I've made loads of mistakes, tons, really big ones. So
I think honestly the biggest way to like condense everything is to just do things when it's right and when it's comfortable. Like, you need to take risks here and there, but like, think about it. Like me and Andy, when we buy equipment, we know we need it for a purpose. We're not just getting it because we have an ego and we want to be like, oh, we're going to be this size shop now. Let's just go buy this shit. It's like, no, like, you buy another press when you need another press, or you buy something to make your shop better because you know it's going to help this person, this person, this person. It's going to be more efficient. So it's just do things when you can do them. Like, it's And when you can afford them, don't go be like, oh, I think I could possibly pay on a loan that's like $250,000 for, don't do it. Just don't.
Yeah, part of it is risk though, which makes it fun. Like I'm pretty conservative when it comes to expanding or like you said, buying another piece of equipment. But and when you do it, it is a risk, still, because there's no promises. There's no promises that anybody's going to place a t-shirt order again here, but yet we go ahead and we keep going. And so I don't know. I think that's fun though. That's exciting. That's part of the excitement of it. It's not monotonous every day, the same kind of thing. So I really love that about it. Yeah. I love that.
So what's next for you? What is your immediately next project?
I've been doing the washout area all day. I've been making sheds because ours is outside, so it's going to freeze. So I'm like building in little sheds, making that really nice and compact and neat because I've moved on for the exposure room. So that's my literal project now.
Why is it outside?
We've got a really small studio. We had an alley, which was good to put the tank in. So I wasn't spraying water in this small space.
Do you get real cold and snow and stuff there?
Yeah. Not like you guys, but we get I'm going to get frost and snow and it's going to kill my tank. So I need to do something. So that's my latest little thing. But I've just bought a shit ton of discharge jigs that I need to get my head around because they're still a little bit erratic.
You should, I'm not trying to hype this show or anything, but you should really watch the Easy Way one because he does talk about dip tank heaters.
Right.
So that might help you out a lot with it being outside.
Yeah. I don't think we're not like sub-zero a lot of the time. So
no, but just like me in general, we have a dip tank too, and we're inside and it's like not freezing in there. It's like, in the winter with the heat on, it might be like 60 without the dryer on or anything. But still, even that, he was talking about how if you heat the water, it's going to make the chemical reaction and everything that needs to happen a lot better because it's warm or hot water. So even for us, we're thinking about doing it now that we did that episode. So I'm saying for you, especially being outside, it might make cleaning screens way easier.
Dylan, that's an excellent suggestion, and I support it 100%. They make you can get them on Amazon or whatever, little dip tank.
Well, he was saying there was two different things. There was one that was like a stainless steel rod that goes in that heats the water. Or the second thing is it's like a thermal blanket that they use. Don't they use it in greenhouses or something? Isn't that what he was saying?
I don't know. I think the one that he was talking about, the one I saw it was like a Velcro one. It was for cattle. You actually put it in their cattle troughs. Here, when so the water doesn't freeze,
right?
For the drinking water doesn't freeze, you put it in there, and it heats the water enough so that it doesn't freeze. Well, the same thing.
Oh, I'm talking about the blanket thing. It goes outside the dip tank and wraps around it. There was that one, and then there was the one you're talking about, the cattle one that's just dips in the water.
Yeah,
heats the water up.
No, I'd never thought of that. I always just think of how to not kill the chemical, but I've never thought of optimizing them with heat.
Well, it makes total sense. We were talking about an episode, and it kind of blew my mind for a minute. I was like. It's like when you wash dishes, you don't wash dishes with cold water.
Yeah.
Nothing wants to come off the plate or wants to come off the dish. But as soon as you turn hot water on, it's oh shit, this is way easier.
Dylan, don't act like you wash any dishes.
I don't. I'm paper plate boy.
Well, keep doing those videos. It's so cool. You do a great job. I've watched as many as I could. I woke up this morning actually and watched a bunch. So
I watched probably your views probably went up a ton today because I probably watched them for literally 2 hours today.
Oh, that's good. You didn't get annoyed at me. That's good.
I don't know how you do it because it's hard. I made a video on our auto reclaim, and it was a 20, maybe 5-minute video, and it was just one take, just start and then just walk through it. And that's really hard to do. It's really hard to just start and talk and say exactly what you convey the message you want to convey without messing it up. You do a great job at it.
Thank you. Because we're trying to get a lot of our tutorials, because we can't do the workshops now. But we're trying to do like tutorial videos online as paid for downloads. So we've got like a little library, but by the end of the year, probably like mid-January, we should have about 12, 13 of those. But they're like a lot of
That's
work
what Casper
getting those
does.
up.
I was saying she should have a sponsor. She should have whoever your supplier is, whoever you buy your.
We're a brand ambassador for a couple of people.
Well, there you go.
Not like sponsored, but yeah, kind of a little
Like an
bit.
affiliate brand ambassador. Yeah, I get it. I like it.
Well, like you were saying too, Andy, is that like you made this 23-minute video or whatever. Like my hardest thing for making videos for like Instagram and stuff is that I try to keep it to like 15 seconds, like always, because more for the music thing, because you can use anything music wise as long as it's 15 seconds or less. So like just editing a print that's like a 12 color print to be like a 15-second video is like super hard.
Yeah, that's where TikTok comes in, because you just literally do 4-second videos and it stitches them together and syncs up the music for you.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah.
It's just a tool, really.
I haven't played with TikTok that much. Everything I've seen or heard about it is just like young teenage girls and boys, and I'm just like,
It's not. It's an algorithm that, like, if you like 3 screen print videos, that's all you're going to see. If you accidentally like a cat video, then yeah, they'll throw in some cats, but it's not that at all. It's 100% down to what you like. So my TikTok will be 1,000 times different from yours.
Yeah, mine's all cats.
Whatever you do on the weekends.
Yep, just cats. I'm just a cat guy. Well, thanks for coming on this with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
I hope you
I'll stay in
touch.
contact. I will. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be looking out for one of those little mini squeegees.
Yeah, I'll get you some.
And I'll print with that squeegee on the screen that has tape on it before I code it.
And we'll send you,
just do a neck label or something.
and we'll send you one of these. You might not get it until
It will be, you will get it, but it will be in 1,000 pieces.
and it'll happen. You'll get it in June.
I'll just like glue it back together and it'll be fine.
No joke. Like we send mugs for other fulfillment customers, and I get things all the time where like I got the mug and it was broken, and I'm just like we bubble wrap the shit out of it and then put it in a box to where it like can't shake around. Like I feel like people at the post office are just like whipping them at the wall. Like I don't know how else to package a mug without just filling it with spray foam.
Yeah.
I really don't. So you might get a mug. I'm just saying, we sent Caton Fabrique mugs and they got 1 of 2 that weren't broken. So I'm going to send one to the UK and
I'll let you know how it arrives.
yeah. Or you could just be super artsy about it. And if it is broken, glue it back together. And just be like, it'd be really one of a kind.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Yeah, I'll definitely send you to
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Gonna go have my dinner.
I think it's night. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See ya.
Okay.
See you later.
Thanks.